Hello, it's Mary Lou Novak, and I'm with Resource4Care.com, where we interview and speak with healthcare and wellness professionals. We record them and put that on either a podcast like Aging in Memphis or on a YouTube channel so that seniors and their adult children can benefit from this free information. You know, I found that most people are thrown into a care situation, either for themselves or a family member, and they don't know who to turn to. So the idea is to make that available for free to everyone. And the best way to reach that information is at the website Resource4Care.com. Now today we have Dezeare Higgs, and Dezeare Higgs is a trainer. And the reason I know why she's a trainer is because after being ill for a while, and I'm actually down 17 pounds. Aren't you proud of me?
Yes, I'm so proud.
As of today, I'm down 17 pounds. But because I was having health issues, I couldn't physically really exercise. And I tried a couple trainers until Dezeare and I met. And she was very gentle and got me into the routine pushed me, but without killing me.
Yeah.
So I really thought that you all could benefit from just her talking about what she does and how you thought about, coming up with the training you gave me based on where I'm at. Because I think I'm like a lot of my viewers, I don't want to say over the hill, but I don't know. What do you say? In my elder years, entering my elder years, and you were very gentle with me, and I'm feeling the difference, and people are noticing the difference.
That's good.
They are. They're
That's
giving
good.
me compliments.
That's what I'm talking about.
So yeah. So how did you get into doing training, and then what was your approach for someone who's older, and why is strength important?
Well, I recently got into it about 4 years ago. I graduated from the University of Memphis with an exercise sports science degree.
Oh, wow.
And so I really wanted to do sports, but I kind of wanted to focus on sports are always going to be there.
Yeah.
So I kind of wanted to do something a little gentle first.
Sure.
And so I got into fitness. I started with myself first. I had a baby, and after that happens, it kind of messes up your body. So started with myself.
And the older
first,
you
and
are,
the older you are,
I had
the
children late in life.
Yep, and so it's harder to lose it after children, so that's kind of what got me into it, and I loved it, and I just ran with it from there.
Okay.
And so once I finished University of Memphis, started on myself.
Right.
I went and applied, and LA Fitness came calling, and so I was like, I'll just give it a try.
Yes.
And so I did it, and so that's where I started. And so then recently in August, Malia is my boss.
Yes.
She asked me if I wanted to come to Carville and help do some training there. And I was like, well, of course, I like to get exposure. I like for everybody to know, who I am.
Right.
So I went out there, and that's when I met you.
Exactly.
And so I've been out there for a little while.
So what's your approach with older adults? It's I'm sure it's different. I mean,
it is.
I have to say you're not my first trainer at LA Fitness. Okay.
Yeah.
And the first one wanted me to do deep knee bends with a 50-pound weight, and I was like, I don't think I'm capable of doing that. So tell me your approach. Why did it work for me with what you're doing?
Because a lot of trainers don't realize the older you get, the harder things become.
Yeah.
And that stems from just getting up.
Yes.
So a lot of people don't realize you really got to take it slow and easy with older clients. And so that's kind of what I did with you. We just started off. We did our first session on Zoom. And so she was at home. And
I didn't have weights. What did I use?
Cans.
Soup cans. But it worked. I thought, what the heck are these soup cans going to do for me? But by the third rep of what you had me doing, I was like, okay, she knows what she's doing.
Yeah, and so what I learned is during COVID, gyms shut down. So you really had to be creative with what you use. And so when I did my exercises at home, I used water bottles.
Right.
I used a towel.
Okay.
I used paper plates. Like, you know, you really got to just get creative with exercising.
Right.
And so that's kind of what I did for you since we did ours at your home.
Yeah.
We did cans and it was nice. We just used a chair.
Yeah,
you know, we did,
that's right. I got one of my dining room chairs. Yeah.
What would normally be box squats, we did chair squats. But it's still the same effect. And so, but strength training is really, really important. And the older you get, the harder it becomes. And so you really got to start while you can.
Yes.
And start as soon as you can. So just because you're older doesn't mean you can't start.
Right.
Go ahead and start.
Right.
It makes it easier as you age. And so that's really the most important thing about strength, because you're gonna need it, and that stems from getting up, sitting down, bathing yourself in the shower.
Absolutely.
Like, it's very important. Help prevents falls, and that's really the big issue with older clients, because one bad fall can set you back a
long time and a lot. I saw that a lot. I don't know if I told you this, but I owned a senior care business for 12 years. And, you know, everything's going fine, and then someone has, you know, a fall or some kind of health incident, and it really, like you said, sets them back. So when you're in the hospital, their main objective is to get you well, but sometimes safety's, you know, important, and they have you stay in bed a little more for that reason, and then you come out a lot less capable than you went in. Yeah. So going in first, being a little stronger, right?
It'll help.
It gives you an advantage.
Gives you just a little advantage, and that's what I'm saying. The sooner you start, the better it is.
Right. And so I go once a week. We missed the snowstorm. We have recently had a snowstorm, and we missed that one, but I'll be back. So what is how do you determine what people can or can't do? Like, what is your thought process, or do you have an actual, you know, assessment process? How does that work?
Well, with fitness in general, everything is a trial and error. So there's no way of me knowing, oh, she can't or she can't do it. I just have to try it, and then we modify from there. So saying those, I know we did box squats. If you couldn't bend as low, we used a pillow to help sit you up, so you don't have to go all the way to the chair.
Just so we're not saying something that people don't know what that is. What is a box squat?
Oh, I'm sorry.
It's like a deep knee bend or something?
Somewhat. It's basically like it's mimicking you sitting down.
Okay.
And that's what a lot of older clients have trouble with, just sitting down,
getting up from a sitting position. Okay.
And so that's kind of what, and that's kind of the approach I take with my older clients too. I try to mimic anything that you would do in daily life situations.
That.
Because that's kind of what people have, you know, a hard time with. So that's kind of how I take that approach. But as far as just knowing what you can do, that's for me to trial and error to see, okay, let's try this. And if it doesn't work, let's modify. And then if that doesn't work, we'll modify it again, and we'll just keep changing it and fixing it until you can get it.
I noticed that with the weights, for example, we do a little bit of strength training as part of it with some machines, and it's so nice to have somebody walk through the machines with you. You're not trying to look at this thing and go, oh my God, what do I do? But there are times when the weight was too light, you know, and I was honest and like, I think I could do a little more. And then there were times like, okay, I don't, because we're doing like 12 reps of everything. So after the third push, you kind of know whether you're going to be able to do 20 or 5. So you want to be able to do 12 with a little bit of effort, right? That's how I was gauging it.
That's correct.
And then, so we tweaked it. There were times where we moved the weight heavier.
Because I wanted, if you have it too heavy, that's where injuries come in. You don't want it too heavy, like you were saying. The trainer gave you 50 pounds. That's how injuries happen. And one thing I don't want is injury. That's what we're trying to prevent, not create. So if anything is too heavy, I want you to be honest with me and tell me, hey, that's too much for me. And that's okay. That's something we build to. That's a goal that we'll get to eventually. And so we just cut it down a little bit. That way you get everything that you need, and you get the movements right. Because what I don't do is overcompensate. It's most definitely form versus weight.
Oh, explain that a little bit.
So basically what you do is you don't if your form is not good with a bunch of weight, you go down on weight. You got to be honest with yourself, and you go down on weight. What's most important is form.
Okay.
One wrong move, one wrong turn, one wrong bend, something snaps, pops, breaks. So you got to really be honest with yourself and say, that's too much.
Right.
And if it compromises your form, you don't want to. You want to go down.
Yeah, I recognize that as we were going through the exercise, you were tweaking my form. What we mean by that is, you want your knees to be here or your arms to be there. You want your stature to be a certain way, and if a weight forces you to alter that because it's too heavy, then and you've done that. You've said, you've told me, no, we're going to do lighter.
Yep.
Because you could see that I was struggling or something.
A form was out of place.
Yeah, that's what we mean.
And placement matters. Whenever you doing an exercise, placement always matters. Depending on your placement is depending on which muscle you work. Okay. So as far as like you were doing your squats,
right?
The wider your stance, the more hamstrings you work. The narrow your stance, the more quadriceps, which is the front part of your thigh. Okay. That's what you work. Okay. And then as you go even wider, the inner part of your thigh is what becomes the most dominant. So foot placement is always...
That's interesting.
Well, any type of placement is always necessary.
Right.
So that's why they have on the machines like an adjustment for your seat. So say we were doing chest press. Right. If you're too high, you won't target the chest. If you're too low, you target more shoulders.
Okay. That's why an expert's good to have. What are some of the things that either exercises or focuses that some of our older adults can be doing, or need, like parts of the body they need to target, or exercises they need to do in order to get up at? Because I was always told that, for example, an indicator of whether you're struggling a little bit with getting up, it's not that you can't get up, but that, are you using your hands? Can you get up out of your chair without pushing off the chair? That's like an indicator.
That you would need to work on leg muscles. Okay. So if you're struggling getting up out of your seat, leg muscles is something that you would need to work on, and you would need to work on both parts, your quadriceps and your hamstrings, which is the back of your leg.
Now the hamstring's the back of the thigh or the back of the calf? Okay.
Your calf is the lower part of your leg. Right. Right up against your behind the shin. Yep. And so let's say you struggle from getting something off the counter. That's where you would know you need to work a little bit more on your upper body strength. Right. Or if you have trouble, let's say a lot of older clients need a boost to get in the shower, like to hold on to something to get in. You would need to work on a little bit of upper body as long as balance. Balance is very, very important for older clients. Right.
And how do you practice? Is there an exercise for that? Or
core strength? So your stomach, core strength. You can do some balance exercises like stand on one leg, or hold onto a chair. Most definitely hold onto a chair. Stand on one leg. Do 30 seconds, then swap. So stuff like that help with balance, but mostly core strength. Okay. Core strength is where you get your most stability from. Okay. It helps you be firm, stable. It's the most important part.
Yeah, I guess if that's probably they call it core, because if your inner self is more sturdy, then you can course correct should you tip or trip or whatever without injuring yourself. So what are some of the things people can do for core strength?
Well, you can start off the squats. Pretty much whenever you do core strength, you have to work another part of your body. Oh. So core strength is always going to be combined with any exercise that you do.
So it's not just, I'm doing my core strength exercise today. It's something else.
It's something, yeah. So, for example, when you do your squats, that's part of using your core. Okay. So let's say when you do your... let's say pull-ups. A lot of older clients won't do pull-ups. But if you do pull-ups where you pull yourself up, that's core strength. But you're also working your upper body. Okay. You can do crunches, but you're still working your upper body when you move up and down.
What about the one where you sort of bend your legs and you take the medicine ball or what?
Russian twist.
Is that what it is? Is that core strength?
That is most definitely core strength. That's
I do feel it in my arms though.
Because you got to hold the weight. So you holding the weight, you using your arms.
Right.
And then sometimes
I never thought of it that way, but you're right. There's not one. I mean, you can't like put a weight on your stomach and like lift the weight.
Yeah. So you're always working
something else.
So say you want to do a glute bridge, which is when you lay down and lift up your pelvis.
Okay.
That's most definitely working legs and its core.
Right.
Okay. And so that's something you can do at home as well. It just depends on your strengths and what you can and can't do. Some people can't get on the floor.
Right.
So it just depends on what you can do, and then
you can work up to that.
Work up to that.
Yeah.
Yep. And that's what I always say. So even if you can't do it, it's okay.
Right.
It's okay. That's what you work up to.
Right.
And that's something to go like, okay, I'm gonna get to that. And then I gotta tell y'all, one of my clients, she's from India, and she couldn't come in and do a push-up. She was like, I really just want to learn how to do a push-up. So right before she went back home, she said, I can do two. And she showed me, she said, look, I can do two. And she was so excited. And that'd be the best parts. Like, when you couldn't do something at first.
Right. A little bit of work.
Yes, a little bit of work, and you do it. And she was so excited. I was so proud of her.
Right.
But yeah, that's what you do. You just work up to it. It's a goal.
Yeah. Now, we're not healthcare professionals. I mean, you have a degree, but I can talk to it anecdotally, but maybe you can share. Like, what does exercising do for your mood and for your attitude? Have you seen anything with that happen?
Yes. Well, that's kind of why I do it too.
Okay.
It's therapy for me. Like, exercising, it teaches you a lot more than just getting in shape. That's one of the goals, to get in shape, but it teaches you discipline, knowing that you come in here, you wake up every day, and that's something that you do to work on yourself.
Yeah.
So
it's on your agenda for the day. Yeah.
Yep. It teaches you consistency. The more you do something, the more you keep doing it, you keep showing up, you get better at it, better at it. And let's say another one, mentally, it makes my whole day. I work out in the morning, so I get up at about 4:30, and that's I make it to the gym no later than 5. I do my workout, and I'm back home to get my kids ready. But that's the best 2 hours that I get, and it makes the whole day better. And I can tell when I didn't do it this morning, and I'm so nervous, jittery. And sometimes if you don't do it, you get grumpy.
Right.
So it most definitely is a mood changer.
There is truth to that. And what I found, and maybe you found this for other clients, is that do something.
Yes.
Like, I was telling myself I had to get on the treadmill for 30 minutes or I wasn't working out, but that's not true. If all I could do was 15 minutes on the treadmill, it really helped. I mean, I felt better.
Yeah.
And then when I'm like, oh, do I really want to put my gym clothes on and get on that treadmill? I just remind myself how good I feel after, rather than the time that I'm on the treadmill. Once I get off, I'm like, I feel good. I feel like I did something for myself, and I physically feel good. So
it released those hormones, those happy hormones once you finish, and then it just lets me know that if I can get through this tough workout that I just made myself do, then I can get through anything. It ain't nothing that's throughout the day that can change anything. I can get through it.
Right.
And so that really kind of helps, because sometimes your day be all kind of crazy, and so you just remember, it's okay, I did that workout this morning. I woke up, didn't want to, snoozed the alarm 3 times, I got up and I did it, so guess what? I'm okay.
I'm good.
So I'm good. So it really helps with the mood. It really does.
I agree. And exercise is not, I mean, I'm going to LA Fitness, and I'm working with a trainer once a week, but it's not just for people who have a membership, right? I mean, the things we're talking about, like the example of us doing it over Zoom, there's tons of videos on the internet. Or get with someone who's already doing it, or just get one time with somebody who knows what they're doing, and you can do it at home. You don't. I mean, you can use soup cans and a dining room chair. I mean, she had me holding the cans and using my arms, but getting up off, on and off the chair, raising my butt, to get off the chair without using my arms. My arms were holding the the little weights, little soup cans. So this is not for the wealthy, right? Or for people who have means.
And that's why I say use whatever resources you have available.
Yes.
Whether it's a water bottle,
right,
or a paper plate, or
tell me how would you use a paper plate?
Well, that's for deep core exercises. So basically what you'll do is you'll sit down on the ground,
right,
and they have these, if you were to buy them off Amazon, they're called core sliders. But if you have carpet, or if you have hardwood floor, you need something to slide easily, across the surface. Yeah. So what you would use is a paper plate. And so you have you'll sit down on the ground. You sit down on the ground, and all you'll do is push your leg out, come back in. Push your leg out, come back in. But it makes it easy. It just glides.
So my foot is on the paper plate, or
your heel.
Oh, your heel. Okay.
You heel, and you're just sitting down. And so these are my feet.
Yeah.
Just go around, and you'll be surprised. You really feel the deep muscles in your stomach.
That's amazing.
But along with core, guess what I'm using? My legs. So you got to use a different, either part of your body whenever you do core. But D-core exercises, sit on the ground. These are my feet. Use paper plates and just go around.
The whole time we were talking, I'm thinking, how is she using these paper plates? But now I get it. I understand.
And then you can use it, not just for your core. You can lay on your stomach, have the paper plates, and make like a snow angel, but it's for your back.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Now you're laying on your back, or
laying
on your stomach?
Okay. Laying on your stomach.
Okay.
So face down.
Right.
You have the paper plates, and use your hands.
Yes.
And just as if you were making a reverse snow angel.
Right.
And what that do is work your back here.
Wow.
Mm-hmm.
That's interesting. Yeah. I'm gonna try that.
Yeah.
The other thing I think is a benefit is anytime you're moving, your heart's working a little bit harder.
Yeah.
Even if you're not doing cardiovascular exercises. Again, we started out slow with that too. Mm-hmm. But that is a huge health benefit to get the blood flowing and
it is.
Yeah.
And as a older client, you really should, the minimum is about 2.5 hours a week.
Okay.
Do some type of walking, cycling. My favorite one is swimming. You really don't know how much swimming helps. Like the water when you're in the water, you don't feel anything. But when you come out and that next day, you will most definitely feel the muscles
you did something.
that you did. Yes.
Okay.
And all you do is swim 30 minutes a day.
Okay.
30 minutes a day, 2.5 hours a week. And that's the minimum. You can do more. More is always best. But if that's all you got, that's all you got.
Right.
That's part of showing up.
Yes.
So even whether you do it for 2 hours or you do it for 15 minutes, you showed up for yourself. And that's all that counts. Just get up and move, do something.
And, not to rehash it, but, I think that not only do you feel the endorphins from exercise, but when you choose yourself, and you choose pouring into yourself, it builds a lot of confidence, stability, centeredness.
Yes.
And I listen to audiobooks. I mean, I'm always thinking too much, and so I'm either listening to prayer or I'm listening to some kind of audiobook. To make the time go by faster. So I'm filling my soul and my head while I'm exercising. Yeah.
And that's kind of what I do too. Whenever I choose to do my cardio, if I'm on the Stairmaster, I have to put on a movie because otherwise I'll focus on me dying. So I put on like one of my favorite.
Yeah, you end up focusing on each breath and each step rather than it's a distraction.
It is. And you most definitely gotta, and it's a mind thing. Everything is a mental thing to push yourself through it. And so whenever you're on that cardio machine and your mind is focused on, okay, I'm gonna get a hold to this movie or the audio tapes, it kind of takes away from the exercising that you're doing.
Exactly.
And so it helps you mentally push through.
Right.
Otherwise,
so we only have about four minutes, maybe even less. And so I'm half a minute, I'm going to ask you, if you could share one thing, what would you share?
Okay.
Before we do that, I want to acknowledge that our sponsor for this that makes this possible, and that is Home Helpers, Mid-South Home Helpers.
Okay.
They're a paying sponsor, and they are one of the premier healthcare, in-home health, non-medical care in the Memphis area. And you can reach them at 901-414-9696. I highly recommend them. I know the two owners, and I know that they really give care, and they have a heart for this work. So what do you think? What would you, if we have a few minutes, so what would you, if you could share anything, what would it be to older adults that you might work with?
Well, one of the most important things is basically just take care of your body. Take care of your body, that way it takes care of you. Start immediately, don't wait. Go ahead and get started. And that stems from just going on a walk.
Yeah.
Anything. Get up and move. Get on that YouTube channel. Do that yoga, Pilates, chair exercises,
Yes.
anything that you have access to. Anything. Get up and start immediately.
And I know that if you reach out to your community centers and YMCAs, and even if you have, let's say, Parkinson's, they have programs. There are free programs out there. You can reach out to me through the website, and I can share that in the Memphis area, for example. Well, I want to thank you today for coming in. I know you've done wonders with me, and so I really just want everybody to benefit from your experience.
Thank you. Thank you so much for having me.